What if I told you there was an app where you could read manga for free and support the manga industry at the same time? Well, this app in question is Manga Plus. It's available worldwide on iOS and Android, and run by Shuhei, the company that publishes Weekly Shonen Jump and many other manga magazines. They release chapters simultaneously with the Japanese release, and a portion of the revenue from the service goes directly to the manga creators. In this video, we're going to be discussing their recently launched First Read Free campaign. But what exactly is this campaign? The First Read Free campaign is a new initiative by Manga Plus to commemorate the app's 3rd year anniversary. Its purpose is to let readers get free access to the back catalog of titles that are currently being serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump and other magazines run by Shuhei. Basically, you can now read entire series for free, as long as they're still ongoing. This is a drastic change in the amount of content that the app offers, because before you could only read the first 3 chapters and the most recent 3 chapters for free for the majority of the series on the app, which is very similar to the free version of Viz Media's Shonen Jump app. Here's the full list of all of the titles that will be part of this campaign. I'll have it linked in the description down below for anyone interested. While I think this is a great move by Manga Plus, there are some reasonable limitations, such as how the campaign is only available on the app version of Manga Plus and not on the website as well. However, this isn't really a deal breaker to me, given how for most of us, our devices are already so deeply integrated into our daily lives, so accessibility won't really be an issue for most. Another limitation is that you can only read chapters other than the first 3 and the most recent 3 one time, which explains the name of the campaign being First Read Free. This is also indicated on the app by a ticket icon that you'll see next to each chapter that is eligible in the program, that gets torn after you've read the chapter. Speaking of eligibility, for series that end serialization during the campaign, they'll still be free to read until 30 days after the last chapter has been released. Also, as I mentioned earlier in this video, this campaign is only running for a currently ongoing series. So for a series that has already ended a while ago, like Naruto for example, will not be part of this campaign. With all of that being said, this campaign is running from January 2022 until January 2023. However, there is the possibility that they could keep this going indefinitely, or even expand it to older series as well, if enough people take part in the campaign this year. In fact, by using this app, there might be even more decisions that readers could have an influence on. Yuta Momiyama, one of the staff members that helps oversee Manga Plus, and also the deputy editor-in-chief for Jump Plus, basically the Japanese version of Manga Plus, highlighted this in a personal blog post. With the data from Manga Plus, the editorial department can now keep track of international reception from a very early stage of serialization. Also, because the international market is so important for the anime industry, Manga Plus data is already being used to help decide which titles get anime adaptations. The reason the international audience is so important to the anime industry is because at this time, overseas licenses for anime productions are incredibly valuable. Streaming companies like Netflix and Crunchyroll are willing to pay a lot of money to have exclusive rights for certain series, because of how much the fan base has grown in the last 2 years during the pandemic. Momiyama's statement is also backed up by the fact that there's already evidence that series that perform well on Jump Plus and Manga Plus do actually get anime adaptations. Spy Family and Hell's Paradise being slated for anime adaptations are good recent examples of this, with both series having been homegrown on Jump Plus and releasing internationally on Manga Plus at the same time. In the same blog post, Momiyama cited a report conducted by Kodansha, another very large manga publishing company. In the report, it was found that roughly 20% of manga sales come from overseas outside of Japan. Momiyama also stated that Shueisha's overseas manga sales have doubled in 2021 compared to the previous year. He also predicts that the ratio of domestic to overseas sales will be equal in 10 years' time. In my last video, I spoke in depth about the tremendous sales growth of the physical manga industry in North America and the reasons behind it. But in terms of digital growth for Manga Plus specifically, from early 2020 to late 2021, the service's user base increased from 1.65 million monthly active users to over 5 million monthly active users. At this time, the international fan base has more influence on the state of the manga and anime industries than ever before. This tremendous growth is most likely going to keep increasing as well, due to initiatives like the First Read Free campaign, and with the addition of Chainsaw Man Part 2 on the service later this year. Another major part of why this growth is able to happen stems from the mindset that those running the app have towards access to content in the digital age. There's a famous quote by Gabe Newell, the founder of Valve, which at this point has been spread around so much that it's become a meme, but it'll help a lot with explaining Manga Plus's approach to accessibility of their content. We think there's a fundamental misconception about piracy, Newell said. Piracy is almost always a service problem and not a pricing problem. Momiyama spoke about how Manga Plus approaches accessibility of their content in an interview with IT Media. Although the Manga Plus service includes ads, he explained that the priority Industry is making a manga's official version as easily accessible as possible, rather than monetizing the platform. He said that the advantage of Manga Plus as a simultaneous distribution service is that not only does it preempt piracy, it closes the time gap between domestic and overseas reception. Weekly Shonen Jump's physical readership has continued to decline over the years, and at this point sits at a circulation of roughly 1.37 million copies, a far cry from its peak of 6.53 million copies in 1994. While on the other hand, Jump Plus has reached a monthly active user base of over 10 million in Japan alone. Shueisha knew that in order to grow or even just stay relevant in the digital age, they had to adapt. So far, they've been able to do that by creating a service that is available worldwide, having a consistently updated library of content, and by taking into account the reader's reception, not only in Japan, but also internationally. Momiyama has stated that he hopes that the service eventually reaches 100 million monthly active users, and I think that if they keep adapting to the growing manga market, it could happen one day. Well everyone, those are my thoughts on the Manga Plus app. If you found this video interesting, then I ask that you please leave a like and subscribe, as it does help a lot. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.